Okay, well, I'm really going to date myself. I started my banking career in Arcata at Bank of America in 1971. I came here from Southern California. I started as a proof operator. Banking has been a wonderful career for me. I left Bank of America after 25 years of working in Eureka, so I haven't gone far. And I worked for Humboldt Bank, and I worked for Humboldt Bank until a couple of years ago we merged with Umpqua Bank, which is a community, regional community bank based out of Oregon, and they merged with Humboldt, and so I came to work for them. I am a regional manager. I've been a commercial lender. That's how I met Dennis, was when I was working for Bank of America and at Humboldt Bank.
I got one of my first loans, I think, from you.
I've also worked with Freddie a long time too. I call him Freddie because we've been friends for a long time. So I cannot tell you what a wonderful career banking is. I have been so fortunate to meet wonderful people. Jerry's wife, Cindy, and I started years ago working on the Arcata Economic Development Corporation, which was a housing project run by the city of Arcata. That's how I met Cindy. And I've met so many wonderful people and kind of respect you when you work in banking. And lending is a great way. You can ask people all sorts of questions, and they kind of are bound to answer your questions because they usually want some money. But that's how I got started in banking, and I've been very, very fortunate to have a wonderful career in banking. The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want in banking.
If I could give you any advice, it is to quest to marry your passion to your profession so that you're always doing something that you're passionate about and you're earning a living. If you do something that you're passionate about, you'll be successful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I worked with Martha. I remember hearing Dennis, he was talking about his radio background. His voice was very distinctive, and my dad used to say voice is as distinctive, if not more, than a fingerprint. So, you know, I recognized his voice from years and years ago, and it still sounds the same today. And so I got it back into banking and moved back home. I worked at Bank of America as a teller, and I've done just about everything as this young lady has in the branch. I've been a new accounts rep. I've done everything but loans, and I worked at Humboldt Bank as well. I did compliance for them, I did operations for them, I did technology for them. Then I found an opportunity to be part of a local bank that started here in Eureka, and so I took the CFO role, and the CFO role, as Dr. Escher alluded to, is more than just a CFO role in a small one-branch bank. You're also the HR director. You're the technology professional, you're the compliance person. So there's a broad set of skills that you can put into play. When I talk about marrying your passion with your occupation or profession, I'm pretty blessed in that I do that every day. I do something that I really love with people that I really enjoy their time. So I came back to Humboldt when I moved back, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. It's not much skiing around here unless you go to Shasta. So I got involved in business, and the most, I guess probably the most specific or quantifiable aspect of the business department was accounting. So I pursued that. I got an emphasis in accounting, and I got my CPA license. And I put my business skills and my accounting skills to work every day in banking. But those business and accounting skills, you can put to work every day in any type of business. They have universal application. Whatever you're going to do, to some extent or degree, you'll need those skills. So anyway, that's kind of my story.
I'm a business and accounting, and I thought about going to the banking. Would you guys suggest starting out as a teller and then working your way up, or going for something more specific within the bank?
I think you're better off to go to a finance department with a bank or an accounting. You know, you could, or get into commercial lending, but you're probably better off in the finance department, wouldn't you say? Then you could start as a teller, but you're going to...
Either side of the house. I mean, lending is debt to income and loan to value, and with your type of background, you can assimilate, you can learn that really quickly, as well as all the financial tenets and, you know, GAAP and all the other accounting pronouncements. So you have your choice.
You have a follow-up on that. Do you have a formal or informal training program?
We have a very formal formal training program for new associates. It's an 8-week program. You go to 4 weeks of learning to be a teller, and then the next 4 weeks is of new accounts and lending. You do that all off-site. So when you come to work in, we call our branches stores, when you come to one of the stores, you are already trained and ready to go. And it's a pretty extensive training program.
We have on-site training. They start out in the offices and you're trained by another employee that's there. And then we do have some informal training, but it's in-house that we try to get people into, within the first month that they're there. It's just a 2-day program. So mostly ours is on-the-job training.
And ongoing, I assume?
Oh, yes, there's always.
And ours is too, and ours depends on the job. A lot of people come in pre-qualified and they know the job, they just need to understand the culture and the people they're working with and for, and the customers. So if it's an entry-level position, there's going to be on-site training. We're not as big, so we don't have off-site training facilities, but it's a little more intimate.
We do an online training for regulations. It's called BBS training, and we use that. It's an online system, and everybody has to do that training from all the way up to the president of the bank to the.
Yeah, we use that too.
What areas do, I don't know if it's consistent across different institutions, but the head honcho, CEO banks, bank presidents, do they tend to come from one area more than another? Marketing, finance, loans. I'm not asking necessarily in your specific institutions, but in your history, if your goal is the top as far as that goes, is there any consistency or any pattern that you see?
My goal's not the top. I'm the second chair. I'm staying there. I don't want to be the CEO. Let me give you a specific answer to your question, though. Generally, they're lenders. In past history, Eric, they have been lenders. But going forward, there's a lot of new regulation. I don't know to what extent you guys have reviewed Glass-Steagall or Greenwich-Bliley or any of the germane banking regulations, but there's this thing called Sarbanes-Oxley, and it comes from the post-Enron world, which was the 9/11 to CPAs, and it was just devastating to a lot of people in the accounting industry and to investors everywhere. But you are starting to see a lot more accounting-oriented people taking the lead position in financial institutions, whether that be credit unions or banks, or they tend to have a little bit more accounting knowledge and they're a little bit more accounting savvy, and that stems from Enron, WorldCom, and Sarbanes-Oxley. But locally and traditionally, it's generally been a lender type of person.